Yes, much more local flavor in the Masters this year than in the past few years. We'll have much more from Aiken's Kevin Kisner and Augusta's Vaughn Taylor coming up on the Monday edition of the Masters Report.
The WJBF News Channel 6 Masters Report, presented by Kroger. Great food, low prices at Kroger. Brought to you by Augusta University. Success is a choice. Bartram Trail Golf Club Masters Week tee times are available. Call 706-210-4681. The all-new Napleton Infiniti of Augusta. Augusta Regional Airport. Fly there, fly home. Family Care, Inc. Just Beds. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight. Bojangles. Get a Chicken Supremes combo for only $4.99 all week. It's bow time.
Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of the Masters Report alongside Nathan Palm. I am Matt Zahn. We will be here every night just after 11, taking you all the way through Championship Sunday.
And more than just the highlights, we've got great stories for you throughout the week, including a local connection to Jack Nicklaus' 1986 movie on Golf Channel, a story on the only player from Aiken to play in the Masters, and much more. But first, we have something in this year's Masters that's been lacking a little bit the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's for sure. We've been a little light on local players playing in the Masters, but this year, Augusta's Vaughn Taylor qualified for the 4th time in his career, and Aiken's Kevin Kisner is here for the first time. By his own estimate, it's about a 22-minute drive from Kisner's house in Aiken to the course at Augusta National Golf Club. This is, of course, without Masters tournament, or traffic, excuse me. This is a tournament the 32-year-old has dreamed of playing in since he began visiting as a child. The proximity allowed him to get some extra practice rounds when he's been home. The former Georgia Bulldog has teed it up today with Augusta native and Augusta National Club champion Jeff Knox. Today playing in front of patrons for the first time, Kisner harvested some more local knowledge, this time from Augusta's Larry Mize, the 1987 Masters champion.
He was dropping all kinds of pearls on me. I love playing with those guys that have been around here and seen all the different conditions that we could possibly be in, and he just showed me where he liked to play from and why, and that's really helpful for me because I'm going to get in positions that I'm uncomfortable and I don't know, and to have that written down in my book will be really helpful.
Well, you know, Kevin knows what he's doing. He doesn't need to be told anything, but I did share some things with him, and most of it, if not all of it, he already knew, but I had a blast. He and Derek both are nice young men, and Kevin, I think he's going to have a good week. He's swinging good, and it was a lot of fun to be out with him.
Kisner planning on playing 18 holes tomorrow at noon. Now, Bill Haas, and Hunter Mahan all have kids about the same age. They'll play the par 3 together Wednesday. Only problem is that Kisner's wife, Brittany, reminded him the group's tee time conflicts with the usual nap time for their 20-month-old daughter, Kate. It's just one more thing for the Masters rookie to deal with.
Well, it may be a short drive for Kisner to get to Augusta National, but the journey here has certainly been a long one.
Yeah, for much of his PGA Tour career, Kisner was grinding his way to a solid living, but never getting to that upper echelon that gives you the chance to play in majors like the Masters. That all changed in the summer of 2013 when Kisner turned to his friend Scott Brown's swing coach, John Tillery, for help, and that helped turn around his career.
I remember I texted him from the fairway of a web.com event, and I was on my way to another miscut, and I was sick of it, and I said, I need help, and he said, we'll fly home tonight, and I flew home on a red-eye and came straight here to work with him.
The rest may be, as they say, history, but there was a lot of work between where Kisner is now and where he was then.
It's funny that one of the first things he said, I hit balls for about 30 minutes, and I said, well, Pro, what do you think? And he scratched his head and said, well, I'm trying to figure out where to start. And I said, that's never a good thing.
I mean, it was, it's, you know, kind of deep, but it was some pretty significant swing changes. You know, it took a lot of work.
That's a bit of an understatement. Tillery says about 2 times a week they would spend the full day working together, and they kept that up for about 6 months straight.
There was a lot of us grinding and, you know, screaming at each other and throwing shoes at each other in the teaching center for months before he, you know, started kind of rounding the corner.
Both Tillery and Kisner pointed to the 2015 Honda Classic as the point where things started to come together. Kisner didn't contend that week, but he did a month and a half later at the RBC Heritage, where he finished in 2nd place, the first of 3 playoff losses for Kisner in the summer of 2015. He played well enough to win all 3 of those tournaments, but finally broke through at the RSM Classic in November.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I mean, he had an awesome attitude through it all, though. You know, he never saw himself as some victim of playoff losses. He just kept his mind right on it, and he kept a really good attitude about it and kept working hard, and we kind of both knew it would take care of itself, and sure enough, everything finally lined up, and he kind of ran away from everybody at St. Simon's.
And of course, the big reward from that victory, getting to play in the Masters.
It's going to be like the pinnacle of my career. You know, it's what I grew up around going to and enjoying the Masters our whole life in Aiken. And for me to compete at a course that I grew up going to watch tournament golf at is going to be incredible.
Kisner says his main goal for this week is to have fun, and while he is a Masters rookie, he's been to the tournament many times, and he's played the course quite a bit as well, and maybe that will pay off this week.
There's a lot of local knowledge compared to a lot of courses. It's really different because of the speed of the greens and the slope in the greens. You got to really know where to place your ball.
And Kisner says he and Tillery have been working the last 2 months on things they think will work well at Augusta National. And while Kisner called playing in the Masters the pinnacle of his career, Tillery is thinking more of it as just a stop on a longer journey.
I hope there's a lot more to come, but it's been a blast.
Yeah, it should be a blast for him out at Augusta National. Kisner's just trying really not to put too much pressure on himself to perform in front of his hometown fans.
Absolutely. It sounds like he's going to have a pretty big contingent of his fans out there tomorrow watching him play another practice round as well. Still to come on the Masters Report, Vaughn Taylor is at his second straight Masters, but this year he's playing in it instead of watching outside the ropes. The Augusta native's journey back to the Masters when the Masters Report continues.
It lips out, and Vaughn Taylor has his first win in 11 years.
Welcome back to the Masters Report. That was quite the moment for Vaughn Taylor getting his first win in over a decade. Of course, the big reward, getting to come back to Augusta National. Yeah, he said he hadn't even played Augusta National all since his last time in the Masters in 2008. But now that he's back, the experience is better than ever. George Escala has more.
Vaughn Taylor is kicking his heels. He's back at his hometown tournament.
Just kind of taking it all in at this point. But, yeah, thrilled to be out here and, you know, really just want to enjoy the experience and have fun.
Taylor hasn't played in the Masters since 2008 and had every reason to believe he wouldn't qualify again after losing his tour card. But that was before a miraculous Sunday back in February at Pebble Beach. Taylor was sensational on the back nine. And when three-time Masters champ Phil Mickelson missed his birdie at 18, Taylor had his third tour win. He celebrated with his wife Leot and their son, and then it dawned on him he was coming back to the Masters.
I was talking to Dottie Pepper, I think she brought it up, and you know, it was pretty cool to think about it, and you know, I still can't believe I'm here.
Though Vaughn didn't qualify for the tournament, the Taylors still came to the Masters last year as fans to a practice round. This year, though, Vaughn is back inside the ropes, and it's a whole different experience.
Today was really special, getting to actually turn in the gate. We've drove by many times and kind of peeked in and, you know, wished and hoped for it. Now we got to do it this morning, and that was really, really special.
Fans from all over the area are excited to see Taylor return to the Masters. Leot says the support has been amazing.
It's really cool to see an entire city get behind a player, and it makes it even more special. We're just very thankful for all of our fans and, you know, everyone who supported Vaughn and knew he'd be back here.
Taylor is tuning up for the Masters. He's happy to be here, but he's not sure what to expect when play gets underway.
You know, played well early in the year, and then haven't played that great since. So, but we'll see. It's golf. It's you know, any day or any week can get it going.
His game may be in question, but there's no question Vaughn Taylor is back home, and a lot of people are happy about that. For Masters Report, I'm George Escala.
Yeah, and Taylor actually came out to the Masters as a fan last year. He said he was a little hesitant to come back until he got back into the tournament, but wasn't sure if it was ever going to happen again.
Right, but he wanted his son Lachlan, who was 1 at the time, to see Augusta National, so he decided to come. He said he was most worried about Lachlan running under the ropes. Luckily, that didn't happen. Well, Lachlan will get to be inside the ropes on Wednesday. He'll be joining his dad for the par 3 contest. We've got much more to come on the Masters Report. Getting into this event, obviously a dream come true for many golfers, but getting to the Masters, well, that can sometimes be a challenge, especially financially, and especially if you're an amateur. Coming up, the special way one player's wife has tried to help fund her husband's trip to Augusta when the Masters Report continues. Welcome back to the Masters Report. It's one thing to earn a Masters invitation. It's another thing to be able to pay for the trip, especially if you're an amateur working a regular job.
So begins the story of Sammy Schmitz, a man who made it to Augusta National because of great golf and great support from all over the country. Brad Means has that story.
This is Natalie Schmitz's husband. He made a hole-in-one on a par 4 en route to the Mid-Amateur Championship and an invitation to come here.
It hit the green, and I was talking to the person next to me, and I'm like, oh my God, it's still rolling, it's still rolling. And then it just disappeared, and we totally freaked out. So it was an amazing experience.
Now, Natalie's husband is taking the break of a lifetime from his day job in the healthcare business and starting the work week here.
It's a new feeling. I've never experienced anything like this on the golf course. I've never seen this many people on the course. I've never even been to the Masters before, so it's all brand new to me. It's really cool.
Schmitz knew he'd punched his Masters ticket when he won the Mid-Am. What he didn't know was how his family was going to cover the costs. Trips to Augusta to practice, plus travel and accommodations for this special week. It was adding up fast. Mrs. Schmitz started a GoFundMe account and made a plea to the public.
Honestly, I thought I was going to get like $5, $10, and 2 days later, we were at like 25 grand. I was like, holy cow, where is this stuff coming from?
Everywhere. Donors nationwide giving the cash to send the family to the Masters.
It was just a really humbling experience.
I was astonished. I was humbled, and I had no idea it would have taken off like that.
Now, Sammy Schmitz and his family and his best buddy John have made it to the Masters.
We grew up playing at a nice little muni called Fountain Valley, and we talked about being Tom Watson or Jack Nicklaus since we've been young, playing against each other, dreaming that we're at the Masters, and now for him to be here, this is just unbelievable.
And all those GoFundMe donors should know this. Sammy and his wife and their little girls are grateful to everyone who's been a part of this experience, a strong support system that he's going to lean on to make it through Masters Week.
I've only played 9 holes with all these people, and there was a bunch of people yelling, "Go Minnesota," and stuff like that. And I mean, it's really cool to hear that, and just to be a part of it all. It's been fantastic.
For Masters Report, Brad Means, WJBF News Channel 6.
Have to love all the different stories of how different guys make it to the Masters. $25,000 on a GoFundMe.
Yeah,
that's
we're
crazy.
going to Masters. Can we get some?
Yeah, right.
When his wife Natalie says she's hoping that he becomes the first Mid-Am champ to make the cut in Masters history. We'll see if he can do it. Much more to come after the break, including 38-year-old Jim Herman's unlikely last-second addition to the Masters field. That coming up next on our Monday edition of the Masters Report.
Herman holds off the heavyweights and finally gets it done. His day at the Shell Houston Open has arrived.
Welcome back to the Masters Report. For the third time since 2008, we added an extra participant in the Masters on the Sunday before.
Yeah, always great when the winner of the Houston Open needed that win to get into the Masters. Obviously, extra special yesterday for 38-year-old journeyman Jim Herman. With the help of that fantastic chip-in birdie on number 16, Herman held off Henrik Stenson to get his first PGA Tour win in his 106th PGA Tour start. It's been a long road to Augusta for the Cincinnati native, who said yesterday he went through Q School 7 times before sticking on the PGA Tour, and now he's playing in the Masters.
Yeah, you want to think, you want to dream that you want to believe that you're going to make it, but you know, you just don't know until it's upon you. You know, you still don't always. I feel like maybe I'm going to wake up and I'm, going to be still on the Saturday night. And it's going into the final round again, and I haven't done it yet. But I don't think that's happening. I think we're here, so I can't wait to get started.
Yeah, and Herman had all but given up on the dream of playing on the PGA Tour 10 years ago when he was working as an assistant at a Donald Trump-owned golf course in New Jersey.
And one day he was playing with Trump, who saw how good he was and apparently encouraged him to give it another shot and go back on the PGA Tour. And now he's in the Masters, which is pretty amazing. Well, he's probably the hottest golfer in the world right now. After his win in the WGC match play just 8 days ago, Jason Day took over the #1 spot in the world again. It was Day's second win in 2 weeks as he won the Arnold Palmer Invitational just the week before. As far as today's practice round, Day noticed one thing in particular about the course conditions.
This is a week where you have to come and shop. The greens are absolutely tremendously quick. You know, I'm sitting there going, you know, from Monday, they're the quickest I've probably ever played. I think they might be Spieth-proofing it.
Despite being a favorite to win, Day said he doesn't feel as much pressure as he might be in the world's #1 golfer with so many players like Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, and Ricky Fowler playing well right now.
Yeah, a lot of golfers playing well. And
Absolutely.
we are not quite done with the Masters report just yet. Our own John Hart covering his 17th Masters this year. Every day he'll give a unique take on golf's biggest tournament. Don't miss what he has to say tonight, coming up after the break.
It's a beautiful day tomorrow. We'll kick it off with sunshine and 48, 62 at noon, 68 for your high. Winds out of the north right around 10 miles an hour. This high temperature is about 6 degrees below normal for this time of year. Wednesday, mostly sunny and 70. Look for a few showers very early Thursday morning between 4 a.m. and about 7 a.m. Then it clears out Thursday with a high of 72. And how about this weekend? Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, mostly sunny, highs in the 60s, wake-up temperatures middle and upper 30s Saturday and Sunday morning.
Thank you, George. Looks like pretty fantastic weather. As we all know, it can be hot during Masters Week.
Yes.
We're going to be super comfortable, and we'll hope the golf is as good as the weather.
Yeah, well, we talked about Kevin Kisner early in the show, making his Masters debut after a lot of hard work the past couple of years with his swing coach. Well, he put in some work when he was in college as well, and as we had mentioned, Kisner played a practice round today with Augusta native and 1987 Masters champ Larry Mize. Kisner continuing the long line of Georgia Bulldogs playing in the Masters. A current Bulldog is hoping to continue the tradition in the future. ARC alum Grayson Sigg out there watching Kisner today, and he said Kevin took some time to meet with the Bulldogs Friday before they played the Augusta Jaguars in the Invitational Tournament.
Yeah, they came out, they got rained out on, what was that, Friday, and they came over to Sage Valley with me and practiced a little bit. It was good to see all those guys. I just saw them right there on 18T, so they finished 4th this week, told them they need to step their game up.
Well, I know he's happy to be out here for the first time, and, you know, I know he's grown up, you know, watching the golf tournament like we all have, so I think it's just pretty cool for him.
Well, this should be a memorable week for Aiken's Kevin Kisner and for Augusta's Vaughn Taylor, and really for pretty much every golfer who is playing in the Masters.
And how memorable will this year's tourney be for us as fans? Our longtime Masters veteran John Hart has some thoughts in a new segment we call Straight from the Heart.
Hard to believe this is already my 17th Masters covered. No, I'm not in the same ballpark as Vern Lundquist or even our own George Escala, but I have seen a lot of history in just less than 2 decades. You had Phil's first, Arnie, Jack, and Gary's last, Len Matisse into the trees, Bubba Watson out of the trees, and sometimes you remember the guy who lost more than the guy who won.
You know, I was laughing outside, I'm crying in here. I couldn't tell you.
And of course,
In your life have you seen anything like that?
no, Vern, I still haven't, except maybe for this. Or this.
Got it! Game over!
If you're not a Georgia fan, those last two might not have the same effect. My point is, no matter what happens this week, we are virtually guaranteed to see something we will remember for the rest of our lives. Name another week you can say that. Welcome to Masters 2016.
Leave it to John Hart to work in some Georgia Bulldogs.
I was going to say, not surprised at all by that. Classic John Hart.
Definitely straight from the heart.
Yes.
And what a start to the week. One thing we didn't mention today, on 16, there wasn't any video of it, but it was amazing. Rory McIlroy, hole-in-one during his practice round. It was one of the biggest roars I've ever heard, not in the tournament.
I know. Well, we heard it. We were out by the clubhouse, and we were like, what was that? it sounded like it had to be more than an eagle. Sure enough, it was an ace.
All right, that's it for the Masters Report. We'll see you again tomorrow.